Like, yo, what's up, bitch? This is a warning for those of you who may not want to hear some of the things I's about to list that are included in this week's episode of The Demons from Outer Space. That includes adult language, adult content, discussions of adult themes, spoilers for the last few seasons of Breaking Bad. I know none of yous wants to hear that shit if you ain't watched the show. And also discussions about the confusion behind some of the continuity of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you don't want to hear none of that, then bitch, I got a couple words to say to you. Get the fuck out. Pinkman out. Peace.
Anyway.
Name a smart sitcom. What's a smart sitcom? Frasier?
Yeah, if you watched a fucking marathon of Frasier, I wonder if the continuity would actually work.
Yeah, I need to get into Frasier. I heard it's really good. I watched a couple episodes when I was younger, and it's never really clicked with me.
Yeah, I've never...
But I hear it's amazing.
I've seen some of it. For a long time, I thought that you would have to watch Cheers to get into it, but apparently not.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
Just happens to have the guy from Cheers.
It's just the character spun off. It's like Buffy and Angel. It's like, at first it kind of matters, and then it stops mattering, and then it doesn't matter again until the last season.
Kind of like how the first few seasons of Torchwood are like, hey, this is what's happening in Doctor Who land, and here's what's happening in Torchville, Torch whatever, and it's fucking...
Torchville, yeah.
It's fucking happening.
I know that town.
It's fucking happening simultaneously, and things are going to bleed into each other, and then after a while it's just like fuck Doctor Who. What the fuck is this show called? Torchwood's just going to do whatever the fuck it wants.
Yeah, that's what happens with Buffy and Angel, too. At a certain point, Angel is just like, fuck that fucking Buffy shit. We're telling our own story.
Like, the first time I saw that, the Torchwood Children of Earth special, I actually hadn't watched Doctor Who yet, which was weird. I just happened to catch it on TV. And then
That's really weird.
And then I saw the Doctor Who seasons later on DVD. And at that time, I never thought twice about it. But then when I rewatched it later, I thought, where the fuck is the Doctor during all this?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, the problem with Buffy and Angel is that every season is about a fucking apocalypse about to happen. And I'm like, wait a second. Buffy's the Slayer. She's supposed to stop all the apocalypses. So, like, why is she not helping Angel out with this apocalypse?
She's the fucking Stacker Pentecost of her universe. Her entire job consists of canceling apocalypses.
Pretty much. So no, here's the bitch of it all. And maybe this worked better when the show was airing, because I think Buffy took a break between season 6 and 7. Or no, wait, I'm sorry. Between different parts of the seasons, because they still did that back then sometimes. Because in Angel season 4, the end of the season, which I think I've talked about, it's a really bad season. The end of season 4 is about this fucking demon that comes out named Jasmine, and she causes perfect happiness to occur all over the world. So everybody is just content, everybody is super happy, everybody's working together, but it's all false, because they all worship Jasmine as a god. So one by one, the different member of Angel's team gets turned back into normal, and they try to stop Jasmine. And the whole time I'm thinking, this is global. This whole thing is a global problem. What the fuck is Buffy doing during all this? Where is she during all this shit?
She decided to sleep in that day.
Yeah, but it's not. It takes place over like 2 weeks.
She decided to sleep in those 2 weeks. I don't know, man.
No, because at the same time, here's why it's a problem, though, dude. At the same time, Buffy is fighting the first evil, which is like the first demon. And it happens at the same time and I know that it happens at the same time because Angel's in the last episode of Buffy, and he mentions having stopped Jasmine. And I'm like, so why the fuck didn't this happen over here, too? Like, Sunnydale is like 40 miles outside of L.A. How the fuck did this not cross over?
I don't know.
It was a big problem with that show.
How the fuck were we not aware that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles existed in the Power Rangers universe until fucking In Space?
Well, it makes more sense that they wouldn't know the Turtles were in their universe. It doesn't make any sense for the Turtles not to know they were in the Power Rangers universe. Because the Power Rangers are public figures.
Seems like that would be a pretty big deal.
Because, like, the Power Rangers go on TV and shit.
You know those giant monsters that keep attacking the West Coast in that one specific town, and the robot that keeps fighting them? I wonder if those are somehow connected.
I wonder if those are fake. But hell, let's get into the show. We can talk about stuff like this on the show.
They assume it's a television program, like it's some Orson Welles War of the World shit.
They're that smart. The Turtles are that smart. They're like, yup, must be some Orson Welles shit going on. Anyway, hello everyone. I am Zazubaar, and welcome to this week's episode of The Demons from Outer Space. It's episode 64. I know that for a fact this time, because I checked. Joining me as always, Dylan McCandless, a.k.a. Super DM64. Dylan, say hi to the people.
Oh my god, we're almost to 65, which signifies absolutely nothing.
No, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And we will celebrate it by doing what we do in every episode. Ramble for 2 hours. Speaking of...
We didn't ramble last episode.
No, we had a pre-planned order of things, and it actually went pretty well.
It did.
Well, say goodbye to that, because this week we have absolutely nothing planned. Now, we have a little something planned.
The unfortunate thing about planning things is that it requires, like, effort and shit. And,
not only that, it also... The other thing is, like, here's what happens, though. Here's why I don't like doing it for every episode. A, it's hard, and B... sometimes you have to, like, force interest in things, like, because it's like, you know, okay, so we wanted to talk about those things because we cared about those things. So then this week what we're going to do was I going to fucking, like, bring on, the Lego Jurassic World trailer came out. Aren't you excited, Dylan?
And I'd be like, nah, man.
I actually am excited.
I haven't played a Lego game since the first Lego Batman, man.
No, that game does look really good though. It's all 4 Jurassic Park movies in one game. So I'm gonna definitely. It looks awesome. And the theme song's in there. You can play as the dinosaurs. I'm fucking in.
But they're Legos.
So what? You can walk around the park. I don't care.
You know how fucking easy those Lego games are. You can't even die.
I don't care if they're easy. I can't even beat Tetris. I long for easy video games.
I forgot you just beat Hulk Ultimate Destruction a few years ago, or like last year. What was that?
1 year ago.
You just made it worse.
I long for ease.
Anyway.
Yeah, I really hope this new Batman game isn't that hard, because if so, I will put it down.
The only fun thing about the fucking Lego games, and I experienced this with the last Lego Batman game, or the first one, the only one of the Lego games that I actually ever acquired for myself. The real fun in it is collecting all of the collectibles, because you can't fucking die on the levels, unless they've changed shit since then. You can't really fucking die, because your character just always respawns, and you just sort of figure things out, and then you keep...
You don't have to start back at the beginning? I haven't played a Lego game since, Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, no, your character respawns, because mostly those Lego games, again, unless they've completely changed the format between now and then, which is a complete impossibility. This was in the late days of PS2.
Yeah, I'm talking mid-PS2 days.
What was I saying? Shit.
I don't know.
It's mostly composed of, like, problem solving. Like, there'll be puzzles and shit, and you figure them out to get to, like, the next area, and then you fight some henchmen, which consists of, like, throwing a batarang, and then
Yeah, they're easy. It's easy to kill the other minifigs in that game, and all the Lego games, like in Star Wars as well.
I mean,
I remember Lego Star Wars 2 being a little bit hard when you go into Jabba's palace.
Some of the Lego characters have like some fun like things they can do. Like in fucking Lego Indiana Jones, you can play as Mola Ram and do the heart pulling out move.
Oh, that's fun. That's awesome.
Obviously, you don't see a bleeding heart in his hand because that would be too hardcore for Lego games. But he like fucking does the move, and then the little Lego person explodes like they do.
Right. No, but you should watch the trailer for Lego Jurassic World because it's really fun. It's because it takes place kind of like what I think the game is going to be about. It's going to be like you're going around Jurassic World, and they're gonna like, give you like a history type of lesson about the other the events of the other Jurassic Park games or Jurassic Park movies, which would be kind of fucked up because like if they did that at the real Jurassic World, it'd be like, look at all these horrible traumatic incidents that occurred at our park. Doesn't it just make you want to come here more often?
Aren't you glad you came?
Well, the trailer is actually really funny because
look what happened to our first corporate lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. Look what happened to an entire division of our company.
Look what happened to even more people in the book version.
Yeah, exactly. Do more people? Yeah, more people do die in the book. No, not many more.
Well, it's weird. There's like random like changes. Like one person will have lived in the book and died in the movie, and then another person will have died in the movie and lived in the book.
For instance, Dr. Wu.
And then some
lives in the movie, dies in the book.
And then some people will have some people will have died in the book and then got retconned so that they could be the next main character for the next book.
Yeah, Malcolm. I love the explanation for that too.
No one could have expected that he would survive not only the dinosaurs but the bombing of the island. That's chaos.
They didn't leave him there.
They did. I don't remember.
You're talking about Malcolm, right?
I don't remember. I wasn't.
No, he survives all that shit. He doesn't die until after they get back to Costa Rica, and the guy who is like running the whole cover up goes up to Alan Grant and is like,
it's been a while,
and he tells him that Malcolm's dead. Which, if you're gonna explain it as to why, first things first, why the fuck did he pick Malcolm for the second book?
I don't know.
Maybe that wasn't his choice. Maybe the student, because he wrote the second book, to my understanding, because they wanted a sequel to the movie.
Right. Well, maybe that was the reason, because maybe he liked Jeff Goldblum's performance so much that he wanted him to be the guy for the second book.
Which is strange though, because I don't feel like he writes Malcolm any differently than he did in the first book. Meaning, like he didn't write him to sound more like Goldblum. Did you find that?
Well, I don't really. When I was reading the book, I didn't really feel that he felt all that much different from the Goldblum version, aside from being a little bit preachier.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think he's
saying a lot.
I don't think he's as eccentric as Goldblum's version. And see, here's the thing. Here's how I'm going to compare it. If we're going to compare this to another character, well, this will be even more clear. Goldblum's version is Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, and the book version is the comic book Tony Stark. So they're still both eccentric, but one is way more eccentric than the other.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because, if you read classic Iron Man comics, I mean, Tony Stark is certainly eccentric and crazy, and he's got some serious character flaws, but not like he does in the movies. He doesn't really have that kind of really sharp wit as he does in the movies. He's not nearly as sarcastic or eccentric. He's more cut and dry.
I really want to rewatch the episodes of the fucking 90s Spider-Man cartoon to see if they captured his personality at all, because I don't fucking remember.
Tony Stark?
Yeah.
No, he's super, super generic.
Really?
If you want to see Tony Stark done right in animation, you watch Season 2 of the Iron Man animated series. Because the first season is absolute trash, but the second season is actually really good.
Is the Mandarin still green?
What...
No.
Mandarin's not in the second season.
He's not?
No.
So he's not green then?
Oh, I'm lying. He gets defeated at the end of the first season, and then throughout the second season, he's collecting his rings to get his powers back. He doesn't show up until the last episode.
That sounds like fucking the Jackie Chan Adventures. They fucking did, in the fucking Jackie Chan Adventures, I don't know why I remember this.
Because you're a big fan of the Jackie Chan Adventures for some reason.
I wasn't a fan.
Definitely not going to judge, Dylan. This isn't my judging voice.
This is so fucking long ago, I don't know how I remember this shit, but the fucking Jackie Chan Adventures, they beat the villain, which was this dragon-looking thing, and then...
Fing Fang Foom.
Yeah, sure, and then he comes back later, and there's like a thing in the middle of him like trying to reclaim his powers. Almost like the camper of evil, but not as fun.
Yeah. I mean, the Mandarin would only show up for a couple seconds, and then he would go away again. Well, it's just like Okay, here's the difference between the first season of Iron Man to the second season. Just watch the transformation scenes of Tony Stark into Iron Man from the first season to the second season.
The transformation scenes?
Yeah, where he puts on the Iron Man armor.
Oh, right.
Because in the first season, they tried to use really rudimentary CGI.
When you say transformation, I kind of pictured him having a fucking, like, morpher or something. Anyway.
Kind of has that in the second season, because if you remember, I don't know if you saw any of the Iron Man animated series. But
no.
Oh, you should definitely give the second season a watch. They're, especially like Armor Wars, it's really, really good.
This was back in the 90s when nobody still knew who Iron Man was. Or people who knew, or we knew who he was, we just didn't care as much.
Tony Stark's got his mullet. He's got his alcohol problem. Kind of. They had to tone it down, obviously, but it's still there.
It's weird because I watched all those other 90s Marvel cartoons, fucking Spider-Man and X-Men and the Hulk. Loved all that shit.
Do you think the Hulk show holds up?
I haven't watched it since then, so I can't tell you.
I watched it fairly... It's on Netflix. I watched it fairly recently. Yeah, it doesn't really hold up.
Are you talking about the 70s show?
No, I'm talking about the cartoon.
That's on Netflix?
Yeah.
Well.
There are a bunch of Hulk cartoons, though, so you have to specify. So it's like, I think it came out in 94.
Yeah.
The 94 show is the one that doesn't hold up at all. It's just, the animation is crap. My biggest problem with it is, like, they got Neil McDonough to voice Bruce Banner.
Oh, well, if it was on Netflix, it isn't anymore.
Oh, they took it off?
Now they have the 70s show and Agents of Smash. And that fucking...
Oh, that's right. They have Agents of Smash on there. Oh, my God. I watched the pilot for that show. Nah. It's
fucking Hulk and She-Hulk and that guy who's like the son of Hulk from the planet Hulk or whatever.
Star.
Yeah, him.
Star.
And the fucking new Abomination that can go fuck himself and fucking Red Hulk.
A-bomb.
He can go fuck himself.
I'm a big Hulk fan. Shut up. I have to keep up with the continuity even if I'm not reading the books because they got really bad.
Oh, God. After I stopped following current comic books aside from IDW and Godzilla, there's kind of a cutoff point for me where it's like, this is where Marvel canon stops, and then I ignore everything after that.
Yeah, literally, my knowledge of current Marvel ends after World War Hulk. And then picks up again during Jason Aaron's Hulk run, and then stops again on issue 2 of Indestructible Hulk. That is my knowledge of the Marvel Universe.
There are sometimes, even though this is terrible from a narrative standpoint, but just like the kid in me wishes that the Marvel Universe operated like television, or the way that television used to operate, where it's like the same, and it always returns to the same status quo.
Oh, just a constant status quo?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't feel that way at all. Because I mentioned this to you off recording. I've been binge-watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not something you should really do. Listen, I still enjoy it. It's Fresh Prince. It's like one of my all-time favorite TV shows. Video coming soon. It doesn't matter. I've seen every episode. It always brings a smile to my face. And that's the thing I didn't realize. Upon rewatching it, I have seen every episode. I didn't think I had, but I definitely must have, because I'm on season 4, and every episode I've watched is one I've seen. The weirdest part, though, is, like, there's no continuity between episodes for the first, 3 seasons. And then finally, towards the end of season 3, they start introducing Vivian being pregnant. And then they have Nikki for the rest of the show. And, it's to that point that they kind of start having continuity. Hillary starts having the same boyfriend every episode, and then he proposes to her at the beginning of the 4th season. They have one of their first 2-parters at the beginning of the 4th season. And then in season 4, there's actually some pretty good continuity. Still not designed to be binge watched though, because every single episode the status quo is reset. So it's weird, though, because I've been watching TV shows lately where it's like the consequences fucking matter. Watch Buffy, Angel, Daredevil, Breaking Bad. There's never, there is no status quo reset button. It doesn't exist. Everything's constantly moving forward. But on a sitcom like that, it's like no matter what fucking happens, no matter what heinous thing Will does, the status quo gets reset. With absolutely no exceptions. There's an episode where fucking he considers taking speed, and he leaves the pills in his locker, and Carlton takes them and almost fucking dies. And there's that really emotional scene at the end where, like, he breaks down crying and is, like, apologizing to everybody. And he hugs Uncle Phil. And then the next episode is like, woo! This is more wacky fun. So, you know, that's frustrating. You know, sometimes you just wish, like, the stuff would carry over. Just makes it more dramatically relevant.
In Marvel's defense, they don't do anything as frustrating as what DC does.
I mean, DC is like, oh, continuity's not working? Let's just reboot.
Again. Let's turn fucking Batman into a suit from District 9. It'll be fine.
Yeah, let's turn Batman into Choppy and turn Superman into a fraternity asshole.
Oh, and fucking fuck them for what they did to Lobo. Fuck them.
What does Lobo look like? Here, let me look it up.
Oh my god, Bill.
Oh my god.
You're gonna be so bad.
Let's see here. That's not Lobo. That's not him, is it? Do I have the right
It's fine. Hold on, let me see if I can find the image that I first saw of the new Lobo design. The one that made me so spine-tingling angry.
Wait a second. Is this it?
Oh.
This fucking Namor-looking motherfucker right here?
Here, Bill. Click this link.
Oh my god, I better be looking at the wrong thing.
Fucker looks like an emo Stephen Strange.
What the fuck? That's not Lobo.
Read the dialogue, Bill.
The head on the left is Lobo.
Read the dialogue, Bill. I was so fucking mad. They pussified him. They turned him into a pretty boy. Can you believe that? It's fucking Lobo.
What the hell? What's up with the blue streaks in his hair?
That would be like turning Darkseid into a Muppet, which would be kind of funny, actually. But can you imagine?
Oh, I would pay to see that.
Can you imagine?
That's insulting. You murder the real Lobo and give this fucking prissy-ass piece of shit over here on the right the fucking name.
You see this guy on the left here that looks like a strange cross of a biker and Kiss? That's a Lobo.
That's the main man. This guy on the right here looks like fucking an asshole.
I said fucking goth Stephen Strange. It's not fucking Lobo.
Exactly. He looks like a gray Tony Stark with blue hair.
Looks like Mr. Sinister if Mr. Sinister was a homosexual. Not meaning that in a negative connotation, just, you know.
I mean, if Mr. Sinister liked Dick, that'd be fine, you know. He can do whatever he wants. He's Mr. Sinister.
I mean, I don't really know what Mr. Sinister's sexual orientation is, to be real.
There are gay members of the X-Men, so who knows?
I don't know if they've... Yeah, it was recently revealed that Iceman's gay, and actually, if you go back in continuity, it makes perfect sense.
Aside from his outfit. Oh my god, that's so weird they did that, though, because there's a joke in Family Guy where... So it's like, I forget what the exact joke was, but, like, Iceman's wife is like, oh yeah? Well, why don't you stop lying to me? And she, like, points out the window, and he's got one of those ice bridges leading into a gay strip club. So it's like he can't hide anything. I love that. So Family Guy called it. Iceman's gay.
Yep.
So Dylan, I finished Breaking Bad, bro. As we mentioned at the end of last week.
You did finish Breaking Bad.
I did.
You broke all of the bad.
I did. I absolutely did.
There is no more bad to be broken.
I mean, I could watch Better Call Saul, but who wants to do that?
You should watch Better Call Saul.
I will eventually, probably,
It's
maybe.
Fan-fucking-tastic television, especially if you've seen all of Breaking Bad, which you have.
I have. That's the point of this discussion. So I finished Breaking Bad, and my thoughts are this. The last half of the final season is absolutely pulse-pounding television.
Mm-hmm.
It is just like, holy shit is going down. And,
why the hell would you leave that book by the toilet?
Yeah, that was my thought. Like, so spoilers for the end of Breaking Bad, obviously, duh. So if you haven't finished Breaking Bad, I would recommend skipping ahead maybe, see if we stop talking about it or just not listen altogether.
If you haven't
Come back
finished
when you
Breaking
have
Bad,
finished it.
I would recommend finishing Breaking Bad.
I would recommend watching all of Breaking Bad right now. Pause this podcast, go watch all 5 seasons, and then come back as we continue our discussion.
We'll see you in 2 weeks when you get to finish.
So
Actually, you can watch all of Breaking Bad in less than 2 weeks unless you need to take breaks for depression or whatever.
or to use the bathroom.
Pussies.
You can get a bedpan, I guess.
See that couch toilet that I suggested? See, all of a sudden there are uses.
Did we talk about that on recording?
I don't remember.
If we didn't, Dylan, tell them the concept for your couch toilet and then I'll tell them why it's a horrible idea.
It's a couch with a built-in toilet. I don't really know why more information than you.
No, hang on. The seat is built. It's like a toilet built into a couch, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's like the water plumbing is built into the couch.
Exactly.
So my point was, you can never buy a new couch. Unless you, get one of the seat cushions, hollowed out.
Well, yeah, you could.
That takes a lot of work, though. And I know you and work doesn't really mix well.
You could totally buy a new couch for the same reason that you can buy a new toilet if you need one.
Yeah, you mean how much of a pain in the ass that is?
Yeah, you gotta turn off your water and then drain it all out of your old toilet, and then you gotta... I've said a toilet before, it's a pain in the ass. I'm just saying.
It is a pain in the ass.
I'm just saying it can be done.
Yeah, but you know what you can also do? Just fucking walk to the bathroom, you lazy piece of shit.
Well, that's what we're trying to avoid now, isn't it?
We're also trying to avoid busting our asses for no good reason. The other thing is, it's a little awkward.
The other thing is...
Here was the point I made. You're sitting in your living room, you're entertaining company, you got your great Aunt Helen coming over.
As I already explained, I did not factor company into the equation when I came up with the idea.
And you just got a fucking rancid-ass toilet in the middle of one of these fucking couches.
Well, you never clean it.
What are you going to do?
Rancid.
Well, I told you, I'm not really all for work, and that takes some work.
So do you never clean your actual toilet?
No. I just let it sit there and fucking build up.
In other words, it's a good thing you don't live alone.
Yes, it's very helpful. No, it's like what fucking Tom Segura said. I fucking make a mess of the bowl, and then I fucking wash it away. But yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the couch toilet and why it's a bad idea.
Fucking toilets and couches.
Yeah, so you don't do that, kids. Don't. Lesson from this week's episode of The Demons from Outer Space, don't install a toilet in your couch. Don't listen to Dylan. He's a fool.
Speaking of humorous toilet inventions, there's a humorous talking toilet in an episode of Better Call Saul, which is a spin-off of Breaking Bad, which successfully segues us back to Breaking Bad.
Right, so last we left our heroes, they were, where was I when we last, I think it was at the beginning of Season 3 when we last talked about Breaking Bad. Right after you were halfway done with it. I was at the beginning of Season 3. So let's just talk about the last couple seasons, and then we don't really need to go back to the beginning because we've already covered that. So what's your take on the last season? Do you think it's overall satisfying, or do you think that it starts off a little bit kind of eh?
Here's the thing. I like the last season right up until the very end. Not to say that I don't like the ending.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. The ending is a bit strange.
I like the ending myself, but it is a tad disappointing because I don't feel like it tops Season 4, at all. The ending to Season 4.
How did Season 4 end? I forgot. Oh! I'm an idiot.
With half of Gus's fucking face blowing up.
Yeah, you can't top that finale. I think they knew they couldn't. So I think they knew they had to do something else.
Yeah, so they went in the more creative direction, which is great. I respect that. It's just at the same time, from a viewer's perspective, it was the end of the last season is so good, and then Season 5 is so good about building tension. You think, oh shit, something's coming. It's going to be just as good or better than Season 4.
I don't think they start effectively building tension until halfway through the season.
It's been a while.
I say the moment when Season 5 gets good is when that guy shoots that kid. And from that point on, it's fucking fantastic.
Right. It's been a little while since I've binged it.
What's the name do you remember the name of the guy who shoots the kid?
No, and he's
He becomes strangely important.
He's kind of a big deal.
Which is weird, though, because he's like... I didn't even... there's a scene in the episode where they rob the train, which is... Oh, my God. That's a great sequence.
Yeah.
When they rob the train. And Bill Burr makes, I believe, his last appearance... No. His last appearance in the show is when... He delivers the money to Walt, right? He and Yule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they have that thing where they're in his storage unit and they're rolling around in the money.
Right. Yeah.
Going all Scrooge McDuck.
Right. Oh, that was a great reference. And they're just fucking sitting there laying in the money. But also I loved the scene with Huel where fucking Hank is interrogating him. And he convinces him that, like, he's gonna fucking get busted. Or no. He convinces him that Walt is out trying to kill him, right?
Something like that. Yeah, because this was after Walt had all those people shanked in prison.
Right. And then this is after he made the tape where he basically makes a confession to the police, except that he says that it was all Hank's idea and that Hank is actually Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Right?
Which...
If there was ever a moment where I was like, oh my God, he is a fucking monster, it was that moment. Because Hank is a douche. He is absolutely a douche.
I always went back and forth on him. Sometimes I hated him, sometimes I loved him. It just so happened that by the time it rolled around to him dying, I was in hate him mode again, so I wasn't too...
Yeah, me too. Well, because it's like, no matter what Walt does, you're always kind of... seeing it from his perspective, so you kind of want it to go his way, because you've grown to really love him, despite the fact that he's really a horrible piece of shit. And it's like the last season really makes that clear that he really is a horrible human being. And what's really sad about it is that you get to see him kind of realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote about this on Facebook. It's one of, like, the saddest things I've ever seen. Like, just watching a guy realize he's a monster. And the scene that really clinched that for me is where he's talking on the phone with Skylar. And he basically... he knows that the police are listening, so he makes it sound like he was the one who forced her to work with him. So that way she doesn't get any of the blame. So that way she can't be prosecuted for any of the things that he did. I think they prosecute her anyway for some of it because he runs away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's still really good stuff. I think the second to last episode is way better than the finale.
Yeah, you were talking about that kid who fucking shoots the kid.
Yeah, what the hell is his name?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look it up.
It's weird because he becomes sort of a big deal by the end of the season.
Yeah, and he's not for the first half of it.
But at the same time, I didn't really like him all that much. He's not a particularly...
I mean, he's just a psychopath.
But aside from that, he's not a particularly engaging character, you know. I can get behind a psychopath if they're entertaining enough, but...
He's not entertaining, though.
He doesn't... Yeah, he just doesn't click. The way that the way that he should, given the weight that he winds up having in the story.
Yeah, no, he's just really kind of like, all he wants is to be a criminal, and he's really good at it, I guess, but he's kind of just doing whatever, you know, just doing whatever he has to do to be a criminal. So he doesn't have any real motivation, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Is his name Todd? Maybe? Hang on, there's like a huge cast list for Breaking Bad.
Yeah, 5 seasons will do that.
13 episodes, that seems to make sense.
And then,
yeah, that's him. His name's Todd.
And then Jesse wants to get a stick up his ass because, you know, like, you killed a kid, and I was like, well, I didn't see you coming up with any fucking ideas, fucking. So,
yeah, that was the thing where it was just like, I think the thing that pissed Jesse off was not really wasn't just that he shot the kid. I think more of it was because he was just so monosyllabic about it. He was just so like, yeah, whatever, just so casual about having just shot a kid.
Well, Jesse is kind of he's very protective.
Jesse is at points the most moral character on the show.
He's very protective also of like children. I notice whenever there's a,
and I think part of that is because he thinks he's a big kid himself.
When a kid gets brought into danger as a circumstance of the plot, that's when you can count on Jesse to lose his shit and do something stupid.
Right. And it all kind of starts. Well, I think we really see it at first with his little brother.
Mm-hmm.
For the one instance that we see his parents in either season 1 or season 2. I don't remember which one of those.
Well, then he has that prolonged relationship with that girl in season 5, and her.
Yeah, and with Brock. I think the son's name is Brock. I think that's who you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm just saying it kind of starts where I think we see it with his little brother, because his little brother is kind of the only one who still believes in him, because his parents have pretty much completely disowned him.
Mm-hmm.
And his little brother is the one who's like, "Oh, Jesse, it's so good to see." His parents are like, "Jesse, it's nice to see you not in handcuffs."
Jesse, get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing here? We're selling your place.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also like at other times, he's also like the most unlikable character on the show. I don't know. That's part of the thing with Breaking Bad is like it jumps all over the place. Where it's like sometimes you love somebody and other times you hate them, and I guess that's realistic, isn't it?
And there's only one character whose my feelings on remained the same. I know that's not a compliment. It's fucking Marie.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be Marie. Marie is the character who everybody's like, oh, fuck her.
They're minerals, Marie.
Yeah. And you know what I think it is? I think it's because they never really gave her a solid arc of her own. Because they kind of jump all over the place.
She's just like a bitch who likes to steal things.
A nagging bitch.
Who likes to steal things.
She starts off
and fuck everything up for everybody.
Well, I think part of the problem is that they didn't run with that fucking kleptomaniac idea.
And then at the end of the show, I'm supposed to feel sorry for her because her husband got shot in the desert. I don't like her. I don't give a shit.
Well, because I felt like her relationship with Hank was never really emphasized enough. Because I flipped back and forth on him constantly too, so it was like, he seemed to be super, like, possessive and controlling of Marie, so I didn't like him on that front. And I didn't like their relationship on that front.
I just didn't like him because he could oftentimes come off as kind of a, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Misogynist?
No.
But yes, definitely that too.
No, overly confident, just like douchebag.
Yeah, definitely. You're talking like a jock.
Yeah, he's got kind of that, like...
he's stocky, he's always like... just the way he talks, like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Hey, go me, let's go. It's like, shut the fuck up,
I mean,
you big-toothed, fat motherfucker.
It took 5 seasons. I wanted him shot in the first episode.
Yeah, I thought he was going to die sooner.
But there's, like...
I felt bad, because I'm like, this is the cop. Like, basically, we're watching, for 5 seasons, a game of cops and robbers between Heisenberg and Hank.
But at the same time, like I said, I would go back and forth on him because all the stuff when he was out of work collecting the minerals, that was all great. Every now and then,
I liked him on that front.
Every now and then, when he was a still detective, he'd say something casually racist, and I would laugh.
Who's you related to?
But
yeah, definitely. No, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just because he's so arrogant that the fact that his heart truly is in the right place. Or just maybe, just like the fact that it's kind of like we like him, like just like by the virtue of the side he's fighting for, we should consider him a good guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, because he's fighting on the side of the law, he's automatically more likable and a better person than Walter White is. And I don't think that's the case.
On the one hand, he's like the guy.
And I'm not even saying like the show was trying to make it that way. I think the show was really smart that it leaves the way you're supposed to feel about its characters up to the viewers, which is brilliant.
On the one hand, Hank seems like the fun kind of guy that you could, like, hang out and have a burger with. On the other hand,
he would get really annoying though because it's like, hey buddy, let's go knock back a few beers. It's like shut.
Yeah, that's the downside. You can only have so much Hank is the problem.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why Marie was such a bitch, because she lived with him for years and just she couldn't take it
Maybe
anymore.
that's why he was such an asshole, was because he lived with her for so many years.
Maybe they were both bad to begin with, and they just made themselves worse, or they made each other worse. I mean,
maybe that's why they were attracted to each other, because they were both such fucking pricks.
they were in a cycle of just bitchiness and douchebaggery.
Which Skylar is really lucky she has Marie as a sister. Because otherwise, oh boy, would she be an unlikable bitch.
She still can be.
I mean, she's still... Season 5, I think, is the season where she really gets the most ground, though, in terms of her position.
Yeah, by the end of Season 5, you totally fell for Skylar.
Yeah, because her life fucking sucks in Season 5. Because she finds out about Walt's drug trade at the beginning of Season 3, right?
Yeah.
So, she's been living with this.
No, I don't think it was Season 3. I think it might have happened
towards the end of 2?
No, definitely wasn't that early. I feel like it might have happened in 4.
No, it didn't happen in 4. It was where it was after she had kicked Walt out of the house and they go to the apartment. I'm pretty sure that was at the beginning of 3.
But there's no way they would have had her discover that early. Because from the point...
No, I think they did, and I think that's why it worked so well.
Because by the point after she does figure it out, it's like, that's one of the moments when shit starts to go downhill.
Yeah, but I think that is one of the moments where shit starts to go downhill. Because that's after... I think part of it was because he missed the birth of his child to go make the first deal with Gus.
I really need to rewatch this fucking show. It's been too long.
No, I plan on putting that off for a long time.
Really, Bill? You don't want to rewatch it after just finishing it?
Oh boy, it's a dense show. I think that's one of the show's best strengths and one of its biggest curses is that it's so fucking just... It's just fucking so dense.
Yeah, it didn't take me that long.
So much stuff happens that it's just like, it's kind of like... You can only process so much of it at a time. That's why I think it took me so long to get through it. Was because it was just like a block of just every episode was so packed with stuff. Oh my god. With very rare exceptions.
Like the Fly.
I remember when I was... well, even that one's packed with shit, though.
That's okay.
I mean,
but it's all like character shit. It's not like you have to process...
Oh, you mean actual plot events?
You don't have to process any major plot things going on or anything. Yeah.
I think they developed some of the subplots in that episode.
Hey Jesse, I let your girlfriend die.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it.
And Jesse's like, that's okay, bro.
No, he does not say that.
I might be paraphrasing a bit.
It's all good, bro. It's all good, man. It's all good, man.
Oh, they make that.
Oh.
They make that joke in Better Call Saul.
No, I know. Andres told me about that.
It's fucking awesome.
But no, I just love that moment in Season 5 where he fucking says it right to Jesse's face. I don't remember what point this was. When fucking he just goes, and I stood there, and I let Jane die. And I was just like, yo, that shit's cold, bro. Is that when Jack's men grab him up, and they have him, tied up, and Walt just says it right to his face?
No. Walt told Jesse about letting Jane die in the Fly episode.
Yeah, but he doesn't really say it outright. But don't you remember what I'm talking about? He says it right to his face at the end of Season 5. He just says it to him. It's like, I sat there and I let Jane die.
Yeah. When he's telling him about it again.
Yeah.
To make him angrier, I suppose.
What scene was that in? Was that in the desert after Hank got shot?
I don't remember if it was then or if it was at the very end, right after he saves Jesse from the fucking thing.
No, because they don't say anything to each other after that. Okay, here's what they say.
We gotta cook.
Walt says, do it, when Jesse has the gun pointed at him, and he says, no, you don't deserve it. You're not giving me orders anymore. Then he puts the gun down and leaves, and they say nothing else to each other. and that's it. And then Walt goes out into the meth lab, has that like kind of end of a show moment where he walks around touching all the lab equipment that defined the show.
I seem to remember.
And then he dies.
I seem to remember Jesse like driving away and at the same time laughing hysterically. And there was a moment.
That's the last time we saw him.
And I was like, oh my god, Walt saved him, and now he's turned into a crazy person because of his experiences.
Do you think that's what happened?
That was probably not.
Because that's kind of the big question mark, is what happened to Jesse afterwards, because he's kind of stuck in the same position for the last couple episodes.
Yeah, he just sort of drives away. He doesn't get his own spin-off show. We'll never know what happened to him.
They should do a spin-off comic called Pinkman.
We'll never see the marvelous misadventures of Jesse Pinkman.
Would you want to know exactly what happened to him afterwards if Vince Gilligan just wrote it down as like, this is what happened to Jesse after the events of Breaking Bad?
No, because
or do you like it left up in the air?
I mean, it's not going to be anything all that exciting. The events...
Yeah, I think it's almost more satisfying not knowing.
The events of Breaking Bad are over. Like, what's going to happen to Jesse then? He fucking goes to a Denny's.
He goes to a Denny's. That's his first thing he does after he gets out of being in prison and having the one woman he loved shot in front of him.
It just happened to be during Baconalia, so he had himself a nice meal at Denny's.
He had a grand slam.
He had a grand slam.
And then he went back to school and fulfilled his dreams, and he became Batman.
He asked an old man sitting next to him what those red, white, and blue pancakes tasted like, and the old man thought about it for a second, and then looked at him knowingly and said, America. And that was...
And that man was Steve Rogers.
And that was the real end of Breaking Bad.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Breaking Bad took place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I really wish now that the last shot of Breaking Bad was Steve Rogers going, America.
America.
Sitting in the...
All of a sudden, we just find out, and then there's an after-credits scene where it's like the preview for the next Avengers movie.
Just him and Jesse Pinkman sitting in a Denny's. America.
Isn't Aaron Paul going to be in an MCU movie? Or am I thinking of something else?
I have no idea.
I think I'm thinking of Need for Speed. For some reason, I thought that was an MCU movie.
Mm.
All right, Dylan, you have to cast Aaron Paul as a comic book character in the Marvel or DC universe.
Marvel's Need for Speed.
Marvel's Need for Speed. Who'd you cast Aaron Paul as in the Marvel universe or in the DC universe? Who do you think he'd be good at playing? Because it's like, I'm sure he can play other roles aside from the whole...
But you just picture...
The whole deadbeat, like, gangster type of thing, the wigger thing.
You just picture him dressed like that, like, bitch. Like, that's just... You say Aaron Paul, and I immediately think bitch. Like, that's...
Do you think he would have been a good Peter Parker if he was younger?
No, wrong color.
Yeah, well, if he grew his hair out, because he's usually bald.
He fucking... he's fucking fighting Doc Ock. Fucking bitch.
Bitch. He might be a good Eddie Brock.
Try fighting me with only 2 arms. Bitch.
Yo, Dr. Octavius.
Bitch.
Bitch.
Doc Ock's like Spider-Man. We need to cook. He's played by Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston would be an amazing Otto Octavius.
That would be like... That'd be pretty good. I'd watch that.
Bryan Cranston as Dr. I would watch Bryan Cranston fucking take a shit in a porta potty. Doesn't matter what he's doing.
I mean, that's going a bit far, but...
No, it's not! I would watch Bryan Cranston take a shit in a porta potty.
That awesome joke from Family Guy. Bryan Cranston sneezes, somebody hands him an Oscar, and he's like, thank you.
They got Bryan Cranston for that too, right?
Yeah,
because it sounded like him.
It was actual Bryan Cranston. Like, it wasn't even a cartoon. It was just an actual Bryan Cranston.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So who would you... I just said Eddie Brock. What do you think of that?
Yeah, but then I would have the same problem that I have with...
Oh, no. Cletus Cassidy, Carnage.
That maybe. Well, I don't know. I gotta think.
I mean, I know he doesn't have the orange hair, but you can give him a wig.
Well, they could dye his hair. That's not a problem. You can get that fucking stuff that they use at Halloween. I'm sure they have a better version of that in Hollywood, and just fucking.
No, they just go to a Walmart and buy that fucking cheap hairspray.
Yeah.
That's how they do Cletus Cassidy in the Spider-Man reboots. Although the only problem with that now is, like, I think it'd be a little creepy if we had, like, an Aaron Paul aged Carnage or Venom, and we have a really young Spider-Man, because the rumors are that they're going to cast Asa Butterfield as Spider-Man for the MCU Spider-Man.
See, I would.
And if you
going back to your Eddie Brock question, I would have the same problem with that I did with Topher Grace, in that.
Really? Why?
Well, not the same problem, but one of the same problems. In that I don't like this like skinny fucking Eddie Brock that we get from like Ultimate. I like the old fashioned beefy. You need a bulkier guy.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. But what if he bulked up?
Aaron Paul, can you imagine?
Imagine Aaron Paul like with Chris Evans muscles. Because the thing I realized
Aaron Paul comes out looking like fucking Dolph Lundgren from Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Well, it's like, when you watch fucking... I never imagined Chris... Because I think he's got kind of a Chris Evans thing going in terms of, like, personality-wise. Like, Chris Evans wasn't that bulked up in Fantastic Four. And then you look at him as Captain America, and holy fuck, that dude worked out like hell.
In Fantastic Four, he was moderately toned. And then he came out in Captain America.
He was skinny, and then you look at him with his shirt off in fucking Captain America Winter Soldier, it's like, holy shit.
And then when he came on...
He looks unnaturally buff.
And then when he came on in Captain America, he was... even skinnier. But then when he got out of the machine, it was like, holy fuck, that guy could kick my ass. Nah.
Yeah, exactly. He kicked somebody's ass. No, but even more so in Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, he's just bulked up to shit. I mean, if he's going to be fighting Tony Stark in Captain America 3, he's going to have to get bulked up even more. He's going to look like he's going to rival the Hulk's physique.
I don't know, who would I cast?
It is a little bit weird, though, to see Captain America taller than Thor.
I really don't know who I would cast fucking Aaron Paul as. That's a weird...
What about the DC universe?
In DC?
Imagine him as the Joker. What do you think of him as the Joker?
No.
No? Okay. I don't think so either.
Then again, I couldn't until recently picture Jared Leto as the Joker either.
I still can't.
They've never cast anyone as the Joker since Jack Nicholson who I've ever thought to myself, yeah.
Well, you weren't around for when they cast Jack Nicholson.
No, but I mean, if I had been...
So we were like this age back in like 1987.
And they said,
and
hey,
they cast...
Jack Nicholson's going to be the Joker. I could picture it because he had the smile. I mean, he just looked the part.
No, I would... If I was as big of a Batman fan then as I am now, I'd be like, no. Probably not.
I mean, he just...
Just think, what did he do before that? What, fucking... Alright, The Shining.
He was in The Shining. He was in...
True. Alright, fine, he's got it.
I think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was definitely before that, right?
Before Batman? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's done those films. He's good in those.
You might have thought he might have been a little too old, though. Because he was an older Joker.
Yeah, he'd have makeup on. Anyway.
Not during the whole movie, though.
He took off his makeup.
Very true. I think I'm going to watch Batman 89 later. Oh, I know. Bill Wurster's going to watch Batman 89 for enjoyment, for sheer pleasure.
You don't even like Batman 89, man.
I don't, so who knows what's going to happen?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Torturing myself.
That would be like if we decided to do a fucking commentary on Dragon Ball Evolution. Why would we ever do such a stupid thing?
I know. Why would we ever do that? Oh, wait. I'm gonna go. Let me go get my knife.
What are we talking about?
Aaron Paul is comic book characters.
Shit. I'm having such a hard time picturing him as anything other than fucking Jesse Pinkman.
For me, even his voice, like he plays I forget his character's name. He plays like the secondary character in BoJack Horseman, which if you haven't watched that Netflix series yet, you should because it's great. It's a really good cartoon. One of the few cartoons like that actually have continuity. So
maybe fucking Pyro from the X-Men universe.
Pyro. Yeah. All right. That's a little bit. That's not what I'm looking for though. I'm looking for somebody big.
It's an easy grab anyway.
Yeah, because like the guy who played Pyro The guy who played Pyro in X2 and X3 looked like fucking Aaron Paul.
Well, he was the only character that I could think of right off the bat that just immediately had that Aaron Paul look, kind of. I could see Pyro reimagined as a Wigger.
Basically was a Wigger in X2 and X3. So the work was done for you, my friend. I have a weird thought. What about like I was about to say like a Jimmy Olsen, maybe? Like a modern-day Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen as a Wigger. It could work. Well, Jimmy Olsen's actually legitimately going to be black at the Supergirl show, so that's a really strange statement I just made. But yeah, they did make Jimmy Olsen black in the Supergirl show. And older, too. He's like fucking 40. Do you see the promo thing for that show?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Did you see the promo, like the 6-minute trailer for the new Supergirl show that's going to be on CBS?
I didn't see the promo. I saw an image. I didn't listen to like the last 2 minutes of what you just said. That was.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Well, I got a little distracted because somebody put fucking porn on Toho Nation.
Oh, did they really? Did you delete it already?
I'm about to.
All right, here, let me see it. I gotta see it before. I want to see what it is before you go on deleting it. It might be something I want to save to my bookmarks now.
I think it's porn.
Well, if there's some moral ambiguity, then we've got a problem.
I think it's porn.
Let me see it. Here, where is it?
Maybe.
Did they pin it? I really hope they.
No, it's not it's a comment on Luis Jose Fernandez's post. Luis Jose Fernandez's second post down about the fucking Jurassic World, or the Muto website.
Oh, okay. Oh. Trio of drunken women are recorded while naked. I'm going to click on this.
Not sure if porn.
Yeah, it's porn.
It's definitely porn.
It's definitely porn. You better delete them. And remind people, stop posting porn.
No porn. Alright, I deleted the... Now I gotta fucking look up the person. And fucking ban them from the fucking group. It is pain in the ass. Fucking people with their...
Well, this is riveting podcasting. Us kicking somebody out of Toho Nation.
Why can't people keep their porn in their fucking incognito window like I do?
Yeah, like a normal person.
These fucking...
Keep your fucking drunk rape porn in your fucking private web browsing. Not in a public Facebook group about Godzilla. What the fuck is wrong with this country?
We don't want to know about your porn, alright?
No. America was built on an ignorance about what everybody jerked off to. What happened to that America, Dylan?
I don't know if I've ever heard America's founding described quite like that, but...
Well, that's what it was.
Well,
nobody said it because it didn't need to be said. Now it's got to be said.
Find the fucking person.
Maybe they don't even exist, Dylan. Maybe they were never here to begin with.
My God.
If
If you're trying to freak me out, it's not working. Nah.
Oh, okay. Well, Dylan, it would take a fucking shark riding a unicycle with an AK-47 to even make you go, huh, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
That...
Sir, you're a rock.
That'd do it. Nah.
I've seen that, too. That didn't do shit to me.
I can't find the fucking person. I'm going to have to wait to see if they post more porn and then ban them then.
Dylan's on Toho Nation Porn Watch. It's a rough job, but somebody's got to do it.
It's a job that I haven't had to do for months, luckily.
Right, exactly. Just like his love job.
At least this time it was human porn.
Yeah, that's a step up, maybe.
Used to be it was odd Godzilla furry or scaly porn, I suppose.
Is that a real term, by the way, scaly?
I've coined it.
I invented it, and I will charge a quarter every time for every time somebody says it.
Because calling a person who likes fucking lizard dicks a furry just doesn't make sense now, does it?
Lizards don't even really have penises. They have hemi-penises.
I'll tell that to the fanboys.
Yeah, they for them, lizards got big dicks.
They're all up on that lizard dick.
They're all up on it, and that lizard pussy.
Ain't got no himmy.
But anyway, so the thing I said when you were ignoring me was...
Well, what were we talking about before someone
we're talking about Aaron
so
Paul's
rudely posted porn?
We're talking about Aaron Paul as comic book characters, and I said, what about maybe Jimmy Olsen?
Oh. Like a edgier Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah, like a mod... Well, the thing is, like, the joke I made was, like, what about a...
I would hate to have to try and write Jimmy Olsen, like, edgier just because you have Aaron Paul playing him, but at the same time, I can't picture Aaron Paul being, like, a wholesome...
Hey, Mr. Kent! Sup, bitch?
We gotta cook.
He was never the one who said that. No, but here's the joke I made. It's like, oh, you have to write Jimmy Olsen like a wigger, which is really funny and a strange statement because they just made Jimmy Olsen black in the new Supergirl show.
Only if Bryan Cranston is playing Perry White.
That's not a terrible casting choice.
Bryan Cranston isn't a terrible casting choice for anything, I've realized.
If you could play a park bench, and I'd be like, brilliant. Makes perfect sense. Bryan Cranston is a park bench.
Now back to Bryan Cranston sneezes.
If you were going to cast Bryan Cranston as a park bench, what position would you put him in?
The park bench position?
Would you, like, dress him up in a prosthetic bench, or would you just have him, like, sit like a bench?
I think the most effective and realistic way to convey...
Right, the realistic way to turn Bryan Cranston into a park bench. All right, go on.
Clearly the most realistic way to pull off such a performance would be to do it through motion capture.
And then have him voice the park bench in post. So it's just literally fucking Bryan Cranston sitting on a green screen on a soundstage. Fucking just like sitting up on all fours, just laying there for like 3 hours.
Occasionally somebody will come and sit on his back, right? And then
No, you add that in post.
And then, when they get up, the park bench creaks a little, which Bryan Cranston makes the noise.
Yeah, but then they have to add that in post.
The person gets up. The person gets up and Bryan just goes, "Er."
He sounds like a dead cat.
You would totally get an Oscar.
No, but yeah, so the question I asked you
and
was,
people would be complaining why that park bench isn't in more of the movie. Turns out this is Godzilla 2.
Yeah, he gets recast in a Godzilla movie, but this time as a park bench. Imagine that's the cameo he makes in Toho's Godzilla. He just plays a park bench.
A role that many people would argue would be better suited for Aaron Taylor Johnson, but we just... But we decided
to cast one of America's greatest actor, Bryan Cranston.
We decided to go against the grain on that one.
And cast him as a park bench.
Really play with people's expectations.
In the only use of CGI in the entire movie.
Suit-mated Godzilla, fucking no underwater swimming scenes, everything.
No, not at all. Everything is done practically, except for Bryan Cranston's performance as the park bench.
Except for the most expensive special effect in any Japanese movie ever, Bryan Cranston as a motion capture park bench.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Oh.
It really makes me wonder why we did not just get the real park bench.
I sometimes ask myself, Hideki Anno, why did you think that Bryan Cranston would be good park bench? And then I remember, oh yeah, I smoke lots of weed.
You switched to Russian there for a second. What made you think that Bryan Cranston would make a good park bench?
Make a good park bench, no? Yes, in Soviet Russia, bench park you. Yes, that makes sense. That's what happened. So yeah, that's...
German Tommy was so...
Hi, Fiora! So we're talking about Aaron Paul as comic book characters. Who else do you think would make sense? Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Perfect.
Again, he would have to bulk up considerably.
Not that crazy. Guy Gardner is not a fucking... He doesn't have a huge muscles.
Compared to...
Now, this would mean we would have to endure the pain of having Guy Gardner be in the DC cinematic universe, and I'm not sure if anybody's ready for that.
Compared to fucking Jesse Pinkman, Guy Gardner's kind of built, yo.
He would also have to wear a bad wig.
But in the face, he looks like him, so.
He does. Well, he's also got the persona down. He's got the likable asshole thing down. Or likable is a strange word to use with Guy Gardner, because, he's not really that likable.
He's like, yo, Howl, bitch.
Hey, Batman! Suck my big green dick! Guy, your dick is not green just because you're wearing a green costume. Oh yeah? What is this? How does this look to you? He just makes a big construct of a dick.
He starts peddling green meth.
Yes, that's exactly what he does. Space meth. Oh, a meth.
Space meth.
Space meth.
10 times more potent than crocodile.
How you paying for this space meth with some space bucks?
10 times
Very
as
true.
potent with all of the negative side effects.
Right. None of the positive enhancements.
It just sounds like a poison. It pretty much is a poison.
If you want to kill someone, you should probably use this. Otherwise, it's not really good for anything.
It's like Black Mamba poison, but a little bit faster.
And it looks cooler. Look at this. Doesn't this look awesome?
You basically, take a puff and then you drop.
It looks like kryptonite. What more do you want?
You basically take a puff and then you drop dead. That's all there is to it. Maybe 2 puffs if you're Superman.
Well, no, not if you see, because it's kryptonite, right?
It looks like kryptonite.
Why didn't they ever do that in Smallville? They're always doing shit with kryptonite. Why didn't they have kryptonite-laced weed?
That'd be a brilliant way to kill Superman.
Kryptonite-laced weed?
I'm sure.
That's how Batman defeats him in Batman v Superman. He gets like, hey, Superman, why don't you come down to the Batcave with me and smoke a J? And he's like, okay, Batman, because that's how Superman talks in Man of Steel. I'll come down there and smoke a J with you. They're sitting there, sitting around the...
They get down there. By the way, what's a J?
Yeah. I'm from Kansas. We don't have J's in Kansas. We only have milkshakes.
He just admitted that he ain't got no J.
He ain't got no J. So they go down to the Batcave, Batman, him smoking weed. Batman's wearing his armor, and Superman's like, why'd you leave the armor on, Batman? And Batman's like, oh, I'm feeling inadequate, so I like to leave my armor on to feel better about myself. And Superman feels all sad for him, so he just accepts it. So he starts smoking the weed, and he feels all wheezy. Starts telling Batman about a time where he had kind of a gay experience in, 9th grade.
Kind of a gay experience.
Kind of a gay experience where, he almost sucked some dude's dick for coke.
Almost sucks.
He didn't go all the way. What should I have done? Just not sucked his dick? Maybe.
Maybe.
The wisdom of Kevin Costner's Jonathan Kent.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die? Did he convince you that he would die if you didn't suck his dick?
Yeah? You probably should have let him die, son.
Isn't that Superman's greatest weakness, that he's too gullible?
Just suck dick? I don't know. Superman's greatest weakness is that he sucks every dick in sight.
You can convince...
You can't stop himself.
You can convince Superman to do anything if it'll save somebody's life.
Superman, you have to make me a sandwich, otherwise I'll starve. Okay, Jimmy. Superman's really stupid.
You gotta imagine that if he tried to suck somebody's dick, though, he would rip the damn thing off. Can you imagine the suction?
That would be one of the arguments. But there's also a school of thought in universe that Clark Kent can control his muscles very intricately, so sex isn't really an issue.
Yeah, but if this is a gay experience at camp one summer, what if he hadn't learned? What if he hadn't learned those skills?
Well, we don't know how he acquired those skills, though. So he just bit some dude's dick off.
If it's based on
Piranha 3D.
It wouldn't even be fucking biting. It's the suction would be so strong that it would just
Well, I don't think you really suck like a vacuum cleaner.
What if he didn't know that, Bill?
He took it really literally. He just swallows the dude.
He's like, so you want me to do what? And the dude's like, I want you to suck on it. And he's like, okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this sucks all the skin off. Jesus. You don't want that.
This is an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, no.
Are we talking about Breaking Bad at some point?
I think we're... well, we just broke some bad, you know what I mean? So, yeah, So I think we're both in agreement that the ending is not bad. It's just kind of lackluster compared to some of the other moments of the last couple episodes in the ending of the last season.
Yeah, and I mean, in a way, they kind of paint themselves in a corner because you know he's gonna die. So,
I didn't necessarily know he was gonna die of the cancer. I mean, no, he doesn't die of the cancer, does he? He dies of the gunshot.
he dies of the fucking bullets entering his body.
I forgot. Because I was about to say, isn't it a little convenient that the cancer just happened to hit him at that exact moment? Then I realized, oh wait, he got shot.
Is that how you think cancer works?
Well, I don't know.
Like he just dropped dead instantly because of the cancer.
The cancer hit him. What killed him, son? He got cancer.
It wasn't the planes. It was cancer killed the beast.
Yeah, he should have stopped smoking all those fucking stogies.
No, death by cancer is usually kind of a slow thing.
Well, I mean, it took a year.
You don't just stand in a warehouse and all of a sudden have a cancer attack and then fucking...
A cancer attack. Oh God, my cancer is hitting me really strong at the moment, Skylar.
My cancer's acting up.
I'm having a cancer attack.
I don't really know how cancer works. I've never had it, but
I haven't either, so we're not exactly the most well-informed fuckers. I've known people who have...
If anybody in the audience has had cancer and is deeply offended by this conversation,
sorry?
Yes, we'll fucking put it in the stinger for this episode. Fucking the following podcast is very offensive to cancer survivors.
So if you're one of those people, you should still listen because we need the views.
So if you are A, a cancer survivor, or B, too easily offended by implications about Superman's heterosexuality,
implications about him being heterosexual or not being?
About his questionable...
Depends on your perspective, I suppose.
His questionable heterosexuality.
You probably shouldn't listen.
And here we've always been getting on to Batman for the assless chaps.
Every person in the DC universe is fucking gay as the day is long. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Oh, you know Wonder Woman be dyking.
There's a moment in the first like story arc of the New 52 where she's sleeping naked with another woman. So, you know, I ain't saying she gay, but I'm saying it's questionable.
I mean, in canon, fucking Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, they did some stuff. They did some stuff.
Fucking planted some seeds. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So yeah.
What if she uses that giant hammer in the bedroom?
Sure she does. Sure she does. I'm sure she uses her whoopee cushion.
Yeah.
Fucking bedroom. You know what I mean?
Sex with Harley Quinn must be an odd experience.
I wouldn't mind. See her out of that dopey costume.
The next morning, the room is just a mess of like rubber chickens and little chattering teeth.
And white drippy stuff. And hey, I meant pie filling, you sick fucks.
And other comical props.
Hand buzzers.
And the whole time you're sitting there thinking, I don't know if what we just did actually counts as sex, but I like it.
I like it. I felt good. You feel good, and she fucking murders you because she's a psychopath.
And then she goes to fuck Puddin' again. Nah.
How do you think they're going to handle all that in the Suicide Squad movie? Because they have a lot they have to set up in that movie.
Right. First of all, they have to introduce movie audiences to Harley Quinn.
Yep. They have to do that.
And a lot of other characters on that team, because most of them are not that well known outside of the comic fans.
Basically everybody, with the possible exception. Deadshot might fare a little bit better because he was an Arrow.
And the fucking main villain of fucking Teen Titans.
No, that's Deathstroke.
That's right. I fucked up.
Deadshot's a different character.
I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah, me too. It's all good.
Deadshot.
I just find knowing what I know now about Deadshot's origins, Will Smith is a strange casting choice because he was like this super like.
Wasn't he always a strange casting choice? He's a super villain.
Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of glad that we're going to see Will Smith as a supervillain. He's never played anybody like that before, so it's going to be kind of cool. He's always been like super against playing villains.
I mean, there have been times that his acting has been villainous.
I don't know if I agree with that. Name one movie that you think he's bad in.
After Earth.
I haven't seen it. I'll take your word for it.
Don't.
I think he's good in I Am Legend. He does his best, you know. I think the problem with that movie is that the script is nonsensical at a certain point.
Again, I needn't bring up any more examples other than After Earth.
After Earth is enough. But isn't he like barely in that?
Just watch any clip from that movie, or fucking. You know what? People have done reviews. Go fucking.
I'm sure they have.
Just go watch the fucking. Not reviews like we do. Reviews by like people who actually like bother to put clips and shit in. And just
well, look at them.
And just look at like the bullshit like, the bullshit like accents that him and his son put on in that fucking movie.
Oh yeah, because they use like Eastern accents, right? So they say like water.
They have, I don't know, it's this bullshit future accent that just sounds stupid, and they're all acting fucking. You know that thing Keanu Reeves does where he doesn't like emote.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie.
Well, it's weird, though, because Will Smith was supposed to play Neo in The Matrix.
Yeah, but...
He got, like, this close. Like, really close.
That would be a wildly different movie.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, Keanu Reeves wouldn't be the big star that he is now. I mean, obviously he had Bill and Ted, but that's not... Bill and Ted is not The Matrix.
But I always forget he was the guy from Bill and Ted, to be honest. Whenever I think
he never played a role like that again, so...
Whenever I think Bill and Ted, I never think, oh, it's fucking Keanu Reeves. I think, oh, it's Bill and Ted.
Yeah. I can't believe they're making the third one. How the fuck is that going to work? How is Keanu Reeves going to play that character again?
I don't know. How are they making...
He's been so deadpan for like 20 years now. How is he going to go back to... Like... That's so interesting.
There are so many movie ideas like in the news right now that I'm like, how is that going to work?
Encino Man 2?
Like this whole all-female cast Ghostbusters idea.
Oh, that's old news, bro.
Doesn't it seem a bit gimmicky?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. I'm like, well, why don't you just fucking do the original idea and just have one of the Ghostbusters mentor a new team? Why don't you put a woman on it? I don't know.
Listen, now that Ghostbusters 3, The Search for Egon, is off the table,
ooh.
I just suggest...
Which, by the way, I think that it's absolutely... They should not do Ghostbusters 3.
I suggest just leaving it alone.
Just let them keep doing the awesome comics, and that's all you need. And we're good.
Yeah.
Comics are great. Just leave it.
Maybe do more video games? I don't know. Just don't... with the movies. Just stop.
Well, are you against them rebooting?
I wouldn't mind a reboot if it was done well.
If it was done properly, though. Like, none of this, like, soft reboot. Like, oh, it's just a new story. It's like, no. It's either a new beginning or it isn't. They don't have to play this... Like, I don't know if they even have to play the same characters. I mean, I guess if you're going to do a reboot, you might as well.
I mean, but you don't necessarily. You know, and nothing gimmicky like this fucking shit that they're doing now where it's like, it's Bridesmaid with ghosts. And I'm like, fuck.
Well, the whole idea is it's supposed to be more paranormally, like more like Paranormal Activity type stuff. And I'm like, what the? That's not fucking Ghostbusters.
Well, if you want to make a show that's like that, make one. Fucking call it Ghostbusters just for marquee value, you sick fucks.
That's the thing. It's like Ghostbusters. If you hear Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis talk about Ghostbusters, if you go back and watch interviews,
come up with
they don't talk about it.
Besides going, like fucking poltercatchers or something. I don't know. Figure something.
One of the things they talk, the thing they say is like the only way we got it to work is that we made the story not about guys fighting ghosts. We made it about 4 guys starting an independent business and turning it into a big success.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the story is about. That's why it's a good movie, because there are characters behind that. And then the supernatural stuff is put over that, and it makes it more unique.
And the best stuff in Ghostbusters 2, which makes up about 5 to 10 minutes of the Ghostbusters 2, is...
Really? You think Ghostbusters 2 is that bad? I disagree. I think Ghostbusters 2 is a riot of a movie.
I don't know if I would call it bad. It's just that it...
Is it as good as the original? Fuck no.
It's just too much of a retread of what we had in the last movie, with exceptions. One of which, what I was about to say, the stuff that they do following up what you were just talking about how in the first movie it was about them bringing their business to be successful, and then in the second movie you kind of see the after effect of that, where they kind of hit the downswing of their career and they're doing fucking like birthday parties and shit.
Well, the thing I don't like about that though is that we have to see them go through that again. They have to start from the beginning.
The fucking best stuff in Ghostbusters 2 comes from the fucking henchman, whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah. Vigo's henchman. I hate Vigo. Fuck Vigo.
It's just a painting that roars like a lion. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And he fights, and he's constituted by slime. Why am I covered in ghoul?
I mean, they could have come up with a different villain constituted of slime. Fucking Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters should have fought Ivan Ooze.
Why not?
Fucking, 3 years before Ivan Ooze was even a thing. When did Ghostbusters 2 came out? I think it was 92, right?
It would be like the fucking prototype for a new season of Power Rangers. Fucking Power Rangers Ghost Force. Can you imagine?
Isn't that what Go Busters is, basically? Or am I wrong about that?
I have no idea. I have no idea what Go Busters is about. I wish I cared, but I don't. It's
I know! Don't you just wish we gave a shit?
The year was 1989.
That's when Ghostbusters 2 came out? The first one came out in 87?
Yeah, I guess. Let me Google. Nah. I just Googled Ghostbusters 2, and that year was 89. Let's see what Ghostbusters 1 was. It was 84.
Oh, okay. I was just about to say that. So it was The Return of Godzilla.
Good year.
The first Terminator. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Or was Raiders of the Lost Ark 81?
I'll Google that, too.
Alright! Yeah, we're just Googling everything up in here.
That's 1981 Raiders is.
And then the first Terminator. The first Terminator is 84 for sure. You don't have to Google that one. I know that one for a fact.
I'm checking. No.
Damn it, Dylan, you're a fucking crazy man.
No, I happen to know for a fact that was Terminator because that's one of the movie release dates that I have memorized. Well, not so much the release date as the fucking year.
We both need to rewatch that movie before Genesis comes out.
Genesis? Yeah.
Because if I'm going to hate Genesis, I want to hate Genesis with something to back me up.
Temple of Doom was in 84.
Oh, it was? Okay. Well, they waited 3 years between those? Okay.
Turns out, yeah.
Jesus, and then they waited 5 years in between fucking 2 and 3? What was Spielberg doing? Fucking fingering his butthole?
I mean, that's a distinct possibility.
Sitting there for 5 years. Fucking wife comes in. Steven, it's time to direct another Indiana Jones movie. Oh, okay. Let me just pull it out. Wash my hands.
These guys have gone to gay sex jokes a lot this episode.
There's a lot of gay sex in this episode of Demons from Outer Space. I think maybe they need to take a look at some of their life choices and consider what they've done.
I always forget that Indiana Jones started before Star Wars ended. For some reason, that blows my mind. That this man was both Han Solo and Indiana Jones at the same time.
The fuck are you talking about?
Fucking Indiana Jones, the first movie comes out in 81, and fucking Star Wars, the last movie is in 83. I always forget that, Indiana Jones...
Oh, yeah, me too.
I always forget, because I always picture it in my head as, Star Wars happened and then Indiana Jones, but they kind of bleed over a little there, and it's weird.
Yeah, they do intersect. So it was Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, then it was Raiders, and then it was Return of the Jedi.
And then the fucking other indie movies. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know why that strikes me as so odd, but it kind of does for no reason.
Well, because they're completely different characters. You can argue that the reason, you can see a little bit of Han Solo in Indy, but whenever I watch those two characters, they're completely different characters.
I think the reason I always thought that one happened after the other is because, fucking... The reason... Because didn't Lucas, recommend him to Spielberg for fucking, hey, I used this guy and fucking...
No. He was completely against it. It was Spielberg's idea to cast Harrison Ford. That was his first choice. Mm-hmm. But then George Lucas was like, no, I don't want him becoming my Robert De Niro.
That's right, and then they wound up going back to him later. Well, for a while, it was going to be Tom Selleck.
Yeah, which, can you imagine that?
And then fucking...
Man, do you think Indiana Jones would be the big icon that it is now if Tom Selleck was Indiana Jones?
And then
nothing against Tom Selleck. I think he's a great actor. He's just not Indiana Jones to me.
And then fucking Harrison Ford winds up being Magnum P.I.
No.
Get off my boat.
Get off my boat. Nah.
I mean, I say that, but then again, if Tom Selleck had been Indiana Jones, we'd be sitting here saying, can you imagine that they once wanted Harrison Ford to play Indiana Jones?
Well, I'm almost saying that we wouldn't even be talking about Indiana Jones right now if Tom Selleck was Indiana Jones. Because I almost think that his persona is almost too... It would almost overpower that character. Because if you watch the screen test that he does, whenever I watch that, I'm like, that's Magnum fucking talking about 1930 stuff.
He's one of those actors, kind of like John Wayne.
Yeah,
when John
Wayne is Indiana Jones.
I came for the Ark
Pilgrim. Now let me tell you right here, Marion.
I came for the Ark, Pilgrim. No, whenever John Wayne shows up in a movie, I don't think, oh, look, there's so-and-so character. I'm always like, it's fucking John Wayne. Because he shows up and he's like, I'm John Wayne, Pilgrim, and I'm a cowboy. And he fucking shoots people.
That's how I feel about fucking Tom Cruise. Whenever Tom Cruise plays a character, I'm like, that's Tom Cruise, not the character.
Yeah.
Like when I watched fucking Edge of Tomorrow, aka Live Die Repeat, I was watching the movie just going, that's Tom Cruise wearing a robot suit. That's Tom Cruise learning how to time travel. That's Tom Cruise killing aliens. It's Tom Cruise.
As opposed to somebody like Johnny Depp, who's a fucking chameleon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he played a chameleon once, didn't he?
Even though you always know it's Johnny Depp, at the same time, he's never the same person.
Wait a minute, was Rango about a chameleon or a gecko?
I think that's a chameleon, because he had those round eyes that are very chameleon.
Did you see Rango?
No.
I loved it. I saw it in theaters. It was awesome.
You saw Rango?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the sequel, Rango Unchained. Nah.
You're a clever piece of shit, you know that?
Yeah.
You're a clever fucker. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Fucking Rango Unchained.
Rango Unchained.
Just like the first Rango, with a lot more racism.
Yeah. There was a lot of... Well, the reason why I liked it so much was because there was a lot of adult humor in that movie. There's a joke about lesbians.
There's a lesbian joke in a children's chameleon movie?
It's not... It's more of a family movie where it's like... It's meant for adults.
There's a lesbian joke in a family movie?
There's also a prostate joke, including a plastic glove. The villain is absolutely terrifying. It's a giant rattlesnake. It's a great movie. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, but I remember enjoying it a lot.
So what?
Oh, and Clint Eastwood's at the end of it.
So what exactly drove you to see Rango in theaters? Was this a movie that you had to go see, or did you get taken there because somebody else was going to see it, or?
No. It was a choice. I had no interest in it until I saw a review of it, and they said it was amazing. And I don't remember. Somebody said something in the review that really convinced me. Like, oh, this might be worth watching, and it was. I think it was the mention of just like how reverential it was towards like westerns and stuff, and how it was almost more for adults than it was for kids. And when I saw it, I was like, this is. I don't know if kids would like this that much. I don't think it did that well at the box office either. So, otherwise they probably would have made a sequel.
It's really interesting.
So,
I'm always amazed by what movies during a year that I don't think I'm going to go see, and then I wind up at the theater because, somebody else is going and they ask if I want to go or something like that.
Yeah.
Like if you had told me at the beginning of the year that I was going to watch Avengers Age of Ultron illegally, but I would get dragged to this theater to see the Poltergeist remake, I would have laughed in your face.
How was that, by the way?
It actually wasn't bad.
Really? I heard it was horrible.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
The only thing that gave me like a glimmer of hope and interest in seeing it was, Sam Rockwell plays the father. And I'm like, okay, I might have to see that now.
The best part of the movie is that all the people are pretty likable. Him included.
Well, it's Sam Rockwell. He's always likable.
him included, definitely. All the people are pretty likable. I mean...
But I just saw that image of the clown and I was like, wow, that CGI is horrible.
It doesn't have much of a reason to exist, is the thing. It doesn't bring a whole lot new to the table. I mean, there are some new ideas you actually see inside the ghost place this time. So there.
Does it look like that world in Ghostbusters when she opens the refrigerator?
Not at all. More like
it.
bodies everywhere.
Oh, great. What a creative vision.
So there are a few new ideas in there, and there's enough differences from the original that if you know the original as well as I do, you can sit there the whole movie and be like, that's different, that's the same.
Are the characters the same?
No.
They changed the names?
It's a new family.
So could it be...
I'm pretty sure the names are changed, but it's the same formula.
Could it be a sequel?
You got the same formula. It's the adults and the fucking... You got an older daughter, a middle son, and the younger daughter.
Right.
Could it be a sequel?
Or could it just take place in the same universe? Is there anything that would not allow that to be true?
I'm going to say that you could possibly write it as a sequel because... You know how in the original Poltergeist, the house is new. They're moved into a new community that's just been built because the guy works for the building company, and that's when they find out that they didn't move the grave. They didn't actually move the grave. They moved the headstones and left the bodies.
You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the body! I've actually never seen the original Poltergeist. So.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
In the remake... That's not the case. It's actually an older community that's been around for a while. They don't move in because the guy works for the moving company. In fact, he's unemployed. It's actually an older neighborhood that's kind of gone to hell. They're kind of moving into a shitty house.
Is it the same premise, though, that it's a house built on top of a Native American burial ground?
Yeah, it's the same premise. Well, it's not a Native American burial ground. It's just a graveyard.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little bit... strange then, though, because wasn't the whole idea like, oh, they're being cursed by this Native American spiritual kind of religion?
Yeah.
Because their whole religion is based around, like, spirituality.
I'm not sure if that was from the first movie. I think that might have been from one of the sequels. The whole Native American thing. Don't quote me on that.
You sure?
No,
I'm pretty sure that's from the original.
It's been a solid while since I watched the original.
Well, I've never seen it, so...
Well, the thing is, though, Native American burial grounds didn't have fucking tombstones.
True. This is true. Maybe I'm crazy. I remember they parodied that in the Rugrats.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway, there's a few new ideas and there's enough differences that you can sit there and pick out. But it doesn't really bring all that much new to the table, and it doesn't have much of a reason to exist. But at the same time, I don't know if I would call it bad, because it's not. I mean, technically, it's fine. It's actually shot in a way that you can tell what the fuck is going on. I know that's a novel.
Whoa!
I know that's a novel idea, and the characters are
seeing what's going on in a movie. Who thought of that wacky idea?
I'll tell you. And like I said, the people are likable. I don't know if I would call it bad. I could see why somebody would feel like they had wasted their money having seen it, but I don't know if it's bad enough to. Or I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't call it bad, and I don't think it's worth getting mad at. If anyone's at all interested, I would say wait and just rent the fucking thing. I wouldn't go to the theater for it because it's not all that different from the original.
Right. I thought the trailer was absolutely horrible, so I had no interest whatsoever.
I mean, based on what my expectations were going in, I had a decent movie-going experience.
Was it in any way scary?
No.
Yeah.
But when's the last time a horror movie was?
I haven't seen a horror movie. You know what the most recent movie that I can think of in my head that I saw that really scared me in any way?
What?
Dark Skies. Do you see that? The alien abduction movie?
No. I know what you're talking about, though.
First things first, alien abduction movies are almost always scary. They're scarier than ghosts. I don't know why. They just are. I didn't make the rules.
I don't know if it's a rule so much as a...
No, it's a rule, Dylan. It's a rule.
So much as like a personal preference. I don't know.
Dark Skies, The Sixth Kind, which is it's a weird movie that's kind of based on a true story, and they play it off like it's actually a reenactment of dramatic events, even though it's all technically fictitious. It's got Mila Jovovich in it.
Oh, it's one of those movies.
Yeah. The creepiest thing about that is that like they don't call the aliens, they call them the owls with the white owls with black eyes, and they show a bunch of owls that look like that, and you're like, oh, because aliens, they kind of look like aliens. Oh, that's clever.
Okay, well, that.
And there's this really creepy moment where somebody gets possessed by an alien, and they start shouting out in Sumerian, and they have to interpret it, and you realize that, oh, the aliens fucking built Sumeria. Oh, whoa. Is that what that country's called, though? Sumeria? What, Sinatra? Whatever the fuck it's called.
I think I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know geography.
Fucking Middle Eastern countries. I don't.
Is that a Middle Eastern? I thought it was South America. I don't know shit.
I don't even know, man.
Who the fuck knows?
It's all in the desert to me.
Let
me look this up. Sumeria. Sumeria.
Just remember that moment from Ghostbusters. Yeah, Gozer was very big in Sumeria. Big guy.
Okay, Sumeria has not been an actual civilization for a couple thousand years, so you're probably thinking of something else.
Oh, no, but it was a civilization at a certain time, right?
Yes, Sumer.
Oh, okay, well, that's what I was asking, because, like, she starts shouting out in Sumerian.
It's from southern Mesopotamia.
So it is the Middle East.
Modern-day southern Iraq.
Well, because my whole question was just, like, is it called Sumeria? Because I didn't know if it was called something else, and then Sumerian was just the name of the language and the people.
Well, what I just read, it was just called Sumer, and then Sumerian is the language and the people. But
okay, so it's just Sumer. Okay, that's not nearly as cool as Sumeria.
Yeah, obviously they fucked with that in Ghostbusters because it sounds a little bit more epic.
It does. Everything in Ghostbusters sounds more epic when it's said by Bill Murray.
Like if there was a ghost from Canada, they'd be like, "He was really big in Canada."
Canadian, and you totally buy it. Totally buy it. But anyway, so what the fuck were we talking about now? Oh yeah, so alien abduction movies are scarier than ghost movies. But yeah, Dark Skies was really scary. It's nothing new. If you've seen an alien abduction movie, you've seen it. If you've seen Fire in the Sky, if you've seen The Sixth Kind, if you've seen fucking Signs, it's a little bit better than Signs though because it's just the family's more likable and it's not directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So
I gotta say, well, the thing is, I don't even watch modern horror movies that often.
Me neither.
Yeah, this Poltergeist remake, and again, not by my own volition, I might add, is the first time I've bothered to go to the theater for one in years.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when was the last time I went to go see a horror movie in theaters.
The last time I even watched like a modern horror movie, and this wasn't in theaters, this was at home rented, was the fucking Conjuring. That's been a few years now.
I honestly can't even say. Yeah, I honestly can't even say. I find a lot of just modern horror movies to be really, really bad.
And in the least, they're never scary. At the very most,
I saw The Stepfather in theaters when that came out. That was a remake of an 80s B slasher movie.
At the very most, you might get a modern horror movie that is at least like fun and has a nice atmosphere to it, but you never get one that's legitimately frightening anymore.
Right. Yeah, The Stepfather wasn't that bad. That was just a weird movie to remake because nobody gave a shit about it.
Obviously, one guy did.
One director and one producer got together and pooled their actually giving a shit, and out came The Stepfather.
And then nobody gave a shit about it.
I mean, I saw it in theaters. I just don't remember.
Okay, Bill gave a shit about it.
Me and my two friends.
Local man, Bill.
No, that's not my name. That's Jake's name. Jake is local man, Jake Mangan. I have another name. Jake, if you're listening, you're a local man.
What is your other name? Fucking Snuffleupagus? Fucking.
Yes, that is my name.
Okay.
No, it's YouTube's Zazubaar.
I like Snuffleupagus better.
Then you can... Fine, Dylan, then you can call me that. That's your new name for me.
You remember Wilford Billy?
Do I remember Wilford Brimley? I saw the thing. Yeah, sure.
I fucked up.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Did you see the 2011 Thing prequel remake thing?
Oh god, no, I avoided that like the plague.
I watched like 2 seconds of it and I was like, wow, those effects are bad. The special effects are horrible.
If you're gonna do a Thing remake, first of all, you should do it practically.
It's not a remake though, it's a prequel.
Technicalities. Anyway, if you're gonna do another Thing movie, first of all, you should do it practically. But if you're not gonna do it practically, at least have decent CGI. At least...
Yeah, well, it's just like those effects were designed. That movie is built on the foundation of how good those practical effects are. You know, obviously the characters and the atmosphere is all great, but they're...
Kurt Russell in a fucking parka, all that shit.
Would you be interested in seeing a movie that is not a remake of the original or of the John Carpenter movie, but is just like, we're just readapting the book. We're just going to take the book and try and make it as honest to God the book as possible, and just make it with all the modern trappings of a movie.
I thought it was just a short story.
Well, it's a novella. Technicalities, whatever.
Sure, why not?
You could even call it Who Goes There if you want to get it away from the name of the thing. But I think you could probably market it better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if Who Goes There is a very marketable title. Maybe if you want to...
I think it's a good title.
Maybe if you want to distinguish yourself from fucking... Yeah, it's a good title from like an intellectual standpoint, but I don't know if it's the kind of title that gets butts in seats.
True. I would also say keep the budget low.
I mean, if you want to distinguish yourself from the now infamous John Carpenter version, you could go back to the full Thing from Another World.
That's a little
title.
cheesy nowadays, though, isn't it?
Well, that'd be half the fun.
Well, if you made it like a super cheesy, like classic horror movie that was more of a remake of the original than anything else, I'd be like, fuck yeah, take my money now. But like that just doesn't fly with a modern audience. Like if you were like, I'm gonna show you a movie called The Thing from Another World, and I want you to take it seriously, they'd be like, bah, I am too intellectual for this.
I'm gonna show you the brain that never died, and then you show them fucking World's Strongest DBZ.
Yes, that is a point of... Those movies are identical to each other.
It's got a similar premise.
Damn straight.
That's not the most ridiculous idea I've ever come up with.
No, I mean, next to the fucking couch toilet? Not at all.
I don't know if the couch toilet's that ridiculous, but...
No, it's pretty ridiculous, Dylan. I think it's a pretty out there concept to put a toilet in the couch.
Or a recliner.
Also ridiculous.
I don't know how it would recline.
It's hard enough for me to aim my butt onto the fucking toilet bowl, as if I need to add like different angles into it.
Well, obviously you would switch into the upright position.
I just need to drop right in there. All right, we're about an hour 45 in, so I think we should start wrapping this up.
What the fuck were we talking about? Jesus.
We were talking about Breaking Bad, and then we were talking about Aaron Paul, and it's...
At some point, Superman sucks some dick. That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's couch toilets and Superman sucking dick. It's been a wild ride tonight. But just to wrap up on Breaking Bad, I would say that it is definitely in my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time.
Coming soon.
Video coming soon. I'm currently working on it. And you'll have to wait to watch that video to find out where it exactly ranks in my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. Is it higher or lower than Angel? You'll have to wait to find out.
He told me, but I don't remember.
I think you do. Because you made a comment about where Breaking Bad was in relative to Angel.
Oh, yeah, you fucking... Okay, yeah. I remember.
You don't need to spoil it for the people.
This guy.
This motherfucker right here. So, yeah. It's a brilliant show. I don't need to tell anybody that. It's a brilliant piece of television. It's a brilliant piece of fiction. It's got like some of the...
We're preaching to the converted.
It's just one of the best character studies in modern day television. But it's one of those shows that, I always talk about how depressing it is, but it's wildly entertaining.
It is.
It has great comedy. It's just a good show, I think, is the point here.
I blazed through it, and I didn't...
What's your least favorite part of Breaking Bad, aside from Marie, obviously?
Damn it, that's my go-to answer. Now I gotta think about it.
But I'm talking about general problems, not characters you don't like. What do you think is the worst part of the show?
Marie is so bad she becomes a general problem, but I'll just give some thought.
What do you think is something plot-wise or structurally or character development-wise or
I talked about this in episode whatever the fuck it was the last time that when we talked about
Binging Bad.
Yeah, that one. When we talked about the first couple seasons. The biggest blemish on Breaking Bad's record is that fucking season 2 finale. Jesus Christ.
It's plane crashing?
Yeah, way to fucking jump the shark and then jump again and then fucking kill the shark and keep jumping over its fucking corpse.
Yeah, no, that is pretty extreme. I just like that. Do you think that would have been better if it would have happened later? Because that's fairly early on in the show's run.
No, it's very out of place is the problem.
Because it's such a high concept idea.
It's just like this. It's just this random idea. It's like I really feel like they thought that they needed to top the end of season 1, and so they were like, "We're gonna end it with a fucking plane crash," and it's like they went way too far. It's way over the top. It comes right out of the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's connected to what's happening in the series because it's all about.
Well, the whole point of it is, like, look at the drastic consequences that can occur of Walter's actions. He's not just hurting the people around him, he's hurting everybody.
Yeah, but if that's the idea, don't you think they could have come up with far more plausible scenarios than he let a girl die and then her dad got depressed and fucking a plane crashed? Like, it just seems like a big leap of logic to go.
Which, by the way, it's not so much Walter's fault as it is that guy's boss for letting him come into work and do one of the most fucking strenuous and most mentally taxing jobs on the planet.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to write a show about a guy who starts dealing meth and then all the negative effects that happen because he starts dealing meth, which is not something I would do because now it's been done, I don't think I
don't think there's much room for another show about a school teacher dealing meth.
I don't think at any point during the writing process I'd be like, okay, consequences of selling meth. Oh, I know, plane crash. It just seems like a pretty big leap of logic. It seems really out of place with everything else that was happening, especially up to that point. This wasn't like season 4 when we had a fucking supervillain in Gus and all that shit. Do
you think his death was too over the top?
Gus?
Yeah. Where he's got half his face blown off. He looks like Two-Face from The Dark Knight.
Maybe.
And there's like a moment where he tries to like talk and.
Okay, yeah, it is a little over the top. I didn't mind it, but it was a little over the top.
Well, I think part of it is like it was just this really big sigh of relief, like, oh God, he's finally dead.
But the thing is, and this is why it works, whereas the plane crash from season 2 didn't. It doesn't feel out of place. It feels, It feels more connected to the events that are happening around. Yeah, you have all that build up in season 4, and you're expecting a big end. And at the end of season 2, that plane crash pretty much just comes right the fuck out of nowhere. In the beginning of season 3, they talk about it in one episode, and then you never hear of the plane crash again.
Yeah, I think that was also more of our issue. Was not so much that it wasn't just that it was over the top. It was also that there wasn't enough impact given how over the top it was.
I mean, I still think it was a stupid idea, but if you're going to do it, you might as well follow through.
If you're gonna sin boldly, I suppose is the thing we should say here.
Yeah.
But
if you're gonna write a ridiculous plane crash into the end of season 2, find a way to make it more relevant moving forward. Fix your mistake. I don't know how you would do it. That's your corner to write yourself out of, Vince Gilligan, but you already pussied out.
Yeah, Vince Gilligan, we're calling you out.
That's your corner to write yourself out of. Oh, but wait, you already did. You pussied out. You fucking. I love you, but you're like, Jesus.
I love you, but you fucked up.
You fucked up once, Vince Gilligan. Thank God you made Better Call Saul afterwards. No plane crash in that finale.
Just you wait, Dylan. Wait until season 2. He's gonna crash 2 planes.
Oh God!
To top himself. They crash into each other.
You realize, of course, that if we catch Better Call Saul up with the events of Breaking Bad at some point, we're gonna have the plane crash all over again.
Yep. Well, how close is it now?
It's not.
They're pretty far off, aren't they? Because Saul isn't even a lawyer in the show.
Yeah, he is.
His name isn't even Saul.
He is a lawyer, but he hasn't started using the name Saul Goodman yet.
Oh, okay. I thought he was like running drugs or something.
No.
Andres gave me a bad synopsis of that show.
There's a few flashbacks where
and by synopsis I mean he said like one thing that made me make an assumption about what the show was in my head, and then I stopped listening.
No, I mean you have a few flashbacks that show his life before he was a lawyer and he was like a con man and stuff, but he.
Oh, okay, that's what he was talking about.
But he's not like a drug runner.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty weird thing to assume. Anyway. What was that?
So, this is going to be a weird question because, as we've talked about before, Breaking Bad is a show that doesn't have a status quo. It is designed to not have one because status quos are for shows that aren't about consequences.
I mean, the very first episode, they establish a status quo, and then Walter White gets cancer. So by the end of the first episode...
Well, I mean, that's just what you do for a story. You have to establish a status quo, and then the story itself is the breaking of the status quo. And in that instance, the status quo is Walter's working 2 jobs. He has an unsatisfactory family life with his wife. She's pregnant. He's got a son.
It's almost as if every single episode has its own status quo that is a consequence of all the things that have happened before. But it won't be the same in the next episode. It will.
If anything,
it will have progressed.
If anything is well, I guess that's almost like each episode is its own individual story, but that's not necessarily true either, because I don't think this show really has standalone episodes. It's one ongoing narrative.
No, I'm not saying that each episode is its own story. It's just that
each episode establishes this is the state of things,
right,
and here's how they're going to change. I agree with that.
There is no status quo, because the status is constantly evolving. I don't know what you would call that. I don't know if there is a term for that.
An ever-evolving status quo.
Sure, why not?
A sequence of ever-changing events. I don't know. But here,
like a really pretentious book.
I'm gonna write that book.
A sequence of ever-changing events. I was looking for
story.
I was looking for a sequence of unfortunate events. Go away.
Get the fuck out of here. This is my private library, where the only book we have is that book. So that's why this is a weird question. What do you think is
your book at least unfortunate? Some of them.
I had a couple of times. I once got ripped off when I bought some ice cream. That was unfortunate for me. I lost like $3.
I once spent years of my life without a Dairy Queen.
That was unfortunate. So here's my weird question. What do you think is your favorite season?
Season 4.
I think me too.
Because
it's either 3 or 4.
Because I love that fucking finale so much, and all the stuff building up to it.
Yeah, I think all of my favorite scenes are in season 4. The box cutter scene.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think the box cutter was in 3, wasn't it?
Maybe. I might be. Yeah, you might be right. I think you are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, no, because doesn't he not kill? What's that guy's name? I thought he didn't kill him until season 4. Maybe not?
I'm not sure.
Well, Gus, all the great Gus character development stuff happens in season 4.
That's where we learn his backstory and all that fascinating stuff.
Yeah, and that flashback with him at that fucking gathering is awesome. So. Oh, and then that scene where he fucking gets his revenge on that guy, he poisons him, goes to the bathroom and he pukes.
Right, box cutter, I was wrong. It's the very first episode of season 4.
Right, gotcha.
I was backwards. I thought the fly episode was in season 4, but that's just in 3.
Yeah, because that's during the whole working for Gus in that meth lab thing.
Right. Well, I thought it was because if you
wasn't there a scene
because they spend 2 seasons working for Gus in that big meth lab. It's the longest setup they ever had.
Yep. Am I wrong about this? But isn't there a scene where they like flash forward to Walt?
I just realized the name of the episode where Gus gets half his face blown off is called Face Off.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, no, isn't it like
That's a double meaning title because the whole episode's a big face off. There's a battle of wills between Heisenberg and Gus, and then at the end he gets his face blown off.
Absolutely, and then they switch faces. And it's time to get your face off. Nicolas Cage is Heisenberg.
I don't think that was an actual line of dialogue from the movie. It's time to get your face off.
It wasn't. It was in my heart.
You don't put a bear in a cage. You put cage in a bear.
What was I about to ask? Wasn't there a flash forward moment where like Walt, like they flash forward to like after the events of season 5, and Walt was walking around with his raggedy hair, and didn't he like go back to that meth lab? But because I thought that they were going to show that in the last episode, but then I remembered, wait, he blew up the meth lab.
They can't have a flash forward to after season 5 because at the end of season 5 he fucking dies.
I meant like
so unless you're talking about his fucking like zombified corpse, fucking.
Well, yeah.
Roaming around, if you believe that
Breaking Bad zombies.
If you believe in that theory that
the Walking Bad.
If you believe in that theory that Breaking Bad is a prequel to Walking Dead somehow, then I think you're talking about the beginning of season 5. There is a flash forward to him with the raggedy hair, but it's him revisiting his house.
That's right.
And then at the very last episode, you see him revisit his house, and his neighbor notices him and all that shit.
Right, that's what I was thinking of. And I love when he waves at her, and she just fucking freaks out. That's great.
The cool thing about Season 5 is that there at the end, Heisenberg reaches his highest level of badassitude.
Yeah, that last episode, he is a fucking pimp.
Just fucking... He's Heisenberg with absolutely nothing left to lose.
Which is awesome. I love when he goes back to see Skylar, and he's just like... Because they've almost reached this kind of understanding at that point, where they both acknowledge that he's a monster. And he goes, you know why I did it. And she's like, don't give me the same crap about the family. Well, he's like, I did it for me. And at that moment, it's like you understand his character arc. It's about this guy who was afraid his whole life, who finally gets the chance to cut loose and truly indulge his ultimate darkness.
Right. I mean, because at the beginning it was about the family thing. But he could have stopped.
He could have seen, there were so many opportunities for him to quit, but his ego never could let him do it. Because that's part of Walter's kryptonite, is his fucking ego.
Well, for a while he didn't quit because something would happen and he would lose the money that he had made. So he's right back to square one with worrying about his family. But there were also times when he could have quit and his family would have been fine after that because he had made up...
He could have quit when he was working with Gus. He had every opportunity. Gus would have let him walked away.
There were so many...
No, he just had to fucking...
There were times when he actually, had enough money. He could have been like, okay, my family's good now, bye.
The whole reason he gets Gale killed is because he doesn't like the way he thinks, because he's getting too good at his formula. It's all ego. It's all ego, man. It's all ego. So anyway, the whole point is that Breaking Bad's pretty brilliant. Brilliant bad.
Pretty good show. It's a pretty good show.
Pretty good show.
I would like to give my endorsement.
Would you say it's your favorite TV show of all time?
I don't know. I don't have a list, and it would take time to make a list. But it's up there.
Is there a show that you'd rather watch than Breaking Bad?
I mean, that just depends on mood.
Do you like Being Human more than Breaking Bad?
No.
No? Sherlock, Doctor Who?
Oh. Doctor Who, yes. Sherlock, I don't know. They're kind of tied. I don't know if I can pick one over the other.
Yeah. But I would definitely rather watch Doctor Who than Breaking Bad.
It's just more accessible.
I mean, that's also just like, it's a little bit of a different, like, oh, watching Doctor Who is whimsical. Breaking Bad, it's like, I'm going to put a bullet in my head. So I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of The Demons from Outer Space. Dylan, do you have anything to announce for the good people?
No.
All right, so this is everything we've been saying for a while now.
Everything.
The road trip to G-Fest is coming up soon in almost exactly 1 month. Almost a couple weeks.
Everything I've been announcing for a while now and have been meaning to finish.
And will probably eventually.
I mean, I did something. I put together the fucking thumbnail for the next episode of Kaiju Spotlight.
Woo! Look at this motherfucker.
I did 10 minutes of photo editing, and then I was like, my day's over.
Let me go give myself a break for all that strenuous activity. I'm just gonna announce the one thing that I said earlier and say the top 10 favorite TV shows list is coming soon. A video I've been working on for a little bit, so that will be coming soon as well, as I've been teasing. So that's about it in terms of announcements. So yeah, until next time, I'm Bill Worster, aka Zazubaar.
And I'm Super Jam 64.
Reminding you to keep friends around, just in case you need to use them to sit outside somebody's house and point laser pointers in their house to make them think there's a sniper watching them. So bear that in mind, kids, as you go throughout your day. And also, that them Germans, they be fucked up.
That's a very
Sayonara,
specific
kids. It is. Sayonara, kids.